but the numbers are still some way off the peaceful political revolution that she and her party are calling for. Ashish Joshi, Sky News.
Well, from the Green Party, I'm joined now by Darren Johnson. Darren Johnson, if you could sum up in one sentence what your priority for the manifesto is, how would you do that?
I would say it is about presenting a real alternative to business as usual, as Natalie Bennett spelt out this morning. That includes a real pledge to end the austerity cuts that we are seeing and begin investing again in public services, putting serious money into tackling climate change. We talked about a £35 billion fund during the course of the next Parliament to really tackle climate change, and also to end the privatisation that we've seen through the back door under both governments of the NHS and bring it back as a proper public service.
That was a long sentence. One of the other issues that has come up in your manifesto is this idea of redressing the balance between rich and poor, taxing the rich. Your proposal is to introduce a tax rate, an income tax rate of 60% for those earning over £150,000. Why are you doing that? How much do you think that would raise?
Well, we estimate it will raise about £2 billion. That's obviously not huge in the grand scheme of things.
Where do you get that figure from? How do you think that will raise £2 billion?
That is from the estimates from the economists that we've had working with our manifesto team. Now, it is not huge in the grand scheme of things, but we think it sends out a very, very important message about the sort of society that we want to create. If you look at the academic research, it shows that those countries where the gap between rich and poor is smaller, they tend to be more successful, they tend to have healthier population, less crime problems, less drug problems and so on. So a fairer society, a more equal society, is actually a healthier and happier society.
But those same economists might point out that François Hollande tried to introduce a similar tax. In fact, it was a 75p rate of those earning over €1 million, quite a bit more, and that raised virtually nothing, and a lot of people left the country. Aren't you worried that this could cause a similar brain drain?
Well, there was all sorts of loopholes, I think, in the French scheme, which we'd obviously want to learn from. But I think it really is important that we actually crack down as well on tax evasions. Tax dodging has become far too prevalent for those, whether they're multi-billionaires or whether large corporations, not contributing their fair share to society.
And I think you put a figure on that. You say that you're going to raise £30 billion by 2019 through tackling tax avoidance and evasion. That's a massive figure, isn't it? I think, I mean, compare it to what other parties are predicting that they can raise. The Tories say just £5 billion and Labour say £7.5, and some economists think they're being optimistic.
Well, I think there's just been a lack of real political will to actually tackle this. So firstly, we want to massively step up the enforcement, employ more tax inspectors. I know it's not always the most popular thing to announce, but we need to ensure that we have the people on the ground to actually enforce our tax laws, and we need to actually use the law to tighten up loopholes, because we are seeing far too many schemes where huge companies are actually trading here but registered in another country. Their taxes aren't contributing to British society, and we need to change that, and we need to make that a big priority, because there's so much that we actually want to invest in terms of public services and in terms of tackling climate change, and that's what the vote for the Greens is about.
OK, Darren Johnson, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
So tomorrow it's the Liberal Democrats' turn to launch their manifesto.